Says the bars and church are clearly amazing, but they don't seem to keep up with you. If they could, would we see you push $2,000? That's going to keep my wife up at night for a few nights. No, no, I don't. I have no desire to go any higher than 1,500. Like I'm probably going to stop there. That's what I'm getting at. Somebody else can put themselves through that much pain and go above 15. That's fine. It's I'll tell you what, man, because 1,400 was so damn painful. It was so painful. Oh, now part of it was just like there's just wear and tear on the body, and it's just one of those things. But like, oh boy, like I had no function of my left hand and arm for about 30 minutes. It finally came back. I was able to like hold the phone and call people, and man, I've put 1,500 pounds in my hands one time. If you're on Patreon, I didn't post it anywhere but Patreon, so you'd have to go to Patreon to see that. I did a 1506 to a one board. It had a 70 or 80 pound reverse band setup. So it was 80 pounds out of the bottom. So it was like 14, low 14s in the bottom, but it was almost the full 1506 at the top. So that showed us that it's definitely possible. But man, oh man, I've never received a weight at arm's length. Well, there's once the spotters release completely in the weights, and me let out a verbal, like a verbal disdain for what I'm putting in my body. Like I've never let out a grunt or like a just from the sheer weight. Now I've had things happen where like the handoff was a little bit bad and like the weight was swaying back and forth, or it wasn't out far enough, so it went right back into the rack, and I was like verbally saying, but just the sheer shock and force of what was happening, I let out this like guttural noise just from the shock of it all. So, yeah, I mean, so point being, like the second part of the question that the bars in church are clearly amazing, but they don't seem to keep up with you. The barbells, yeah, that was a problem. The F8 the Sportcraft barbells, those performed amazing up to 1,350. When I benched 1,350 at the Hillbilly Havoc in West Virginia in 23, was it 23? It was February 23. That was an amazing day. That bar performed great. I actually have that bar. Well, that was one of my barbells I brought to the meet. I brought two of my F8 Sportcraft barbells, one for the warm-up area and one for the situated. Here we go. The Sportcraft barbells held really well up to 1,350. I still have the actual barbell that I benched 1,350 on as one of my personal ones at Gym Therapy. But at 1,400, that's where the bar, both in training and on the platform, showed its limits, because I turned that barbell, which at the time was the strongest bench bar on the planet. That's where it started to fail. It started to bow and flex and oscillate and cause problems. I had to try 1,400 pounds all three attempts in order to get it. And that bar would just, man, because it's not just the weight, it's the weight plus the effect it's having on the barbell. So it's not just a matter of pushing, you also have to push and correct this on the way up. That's what hurts so damn bad. It's not just the shearing force of the bar pushing you down into the bench. It's also having to correct this. Oh boy, so Rob Farrell took it upon himself to make stronger barbells than the Sportcraft. Sportcraft is out of Finland, so it's Finnish steel. He started working with a company in Canada. I'm sure he's gone. I think he started working with a company in Germany. I can't remember, but made a couple of prototypes with this new Canadian steel, thicker, not 30 millimeters, but 32 millimeters. And he may actually maybe another one that's 35. Well, that's a whole other can of worms to open. That thing's a monster. But yeah, he made stronger barbells to be able to hold up to 14 plus up to that 1,500. So I have no desire to go any higher than 1,500 pounds as I sit here talking to you now. It might be different down the road, but as I sit here now, I don't want to go any higher.